So thank you for joining here and the parent meeting. I try to offer a meeting at the beginning of the school year to help, any of the parents answer any questions and concerns and talk a little bit about the things that we are doing this school year. And then we have also another parent meeting around February, beginning of February, something like that, in order to touch bases. Okay, so I'm going to share the screen with you and kind of tell you what is it that we are planning to do today. So let me put this screens over here. You are certainly welcome to put questions in the chat if you want, all right? Or raise your hand, okay? Especially the virtual hand and so on, and do that. So this is basically what we are going to do. Briefly, I'm going to talk about the mission of the Academy, our vision and educational philosophy, how we expect the students to interact, how the classes work. This may be a review for some of you, it may be new, but I expect that you have some questions about this. Also, the expectations about what is the parent involvement. What do we want, how do we want you to be involved in the classes and in this experience, okay? Then we will talk about how to maximize the learning experience. We will bump this part of tuition and payment options at the beginning in order to leave some time for Emily to talk about this, and then talk about the future of the Academy and have any questions and answers for that. So let me start here by talking about what is our mission, all right? So the mission of our Academy is really to support you, to support homeschooling parents by providing middle and high school age online courses that are academically rigorous and also a valuable educational experience. And we are trying to follow the well-educated heart educational philosophy, okay? So this is our mission, all right? We are here really to support you. So if at any time you feel that you need more support, okay, or there's something that we could do better, let us know, because that is really what we are here to do, to help you. And the educational philosophy of the well-educated heart can be basically summarized this way, all right? We focus on the heart first and then the mind, all right? So what that means, this translates into that we want the students to love what they are doing, what they are learning, to understand that it's kind of a matter of building relationships, not just with the teacher and the students, but also with the content, okay? So it's important that the students are able to feel a connection with the content of whatever it is that they are studying. Then the mind will be more open and receptive to what they are learning. We want to really focus on learning instead of teaching, okay? We don't focus on assessment at all right? We focus on giving feedback instead of assessment. That is why we don't give grades in our courses. We do give feedback and encouragement and so on, but we really want to encourage the students to take to hold the reins of their own education. We want also to develop personal connections The technology is just there in order to help us facilitate that. The technology is the medium for that, but that is not the focus. Okay. And we want the students to have a feeling of wonderment and gratitude in all the subjects that they are learning. And then we focused on proficiency and utility. Okay, so we don't want the students to say, what am I going to use this for? What we want to instill in them is an attitude of, wow, this is actually so important, so useful, so fun to learn, really. Even like math and science and so on, instead of always thinking, what is the use of this? Okay, that comes later. And it's always, we are always learning useful things, but that is not where the focus should be. Okay. And, we are really a community of learners and teachers. We want to see that everyone sees themselves as a learner teacher. Yeah, okay. And we want to also encourage all of our students not only to learn, but also to teach, to take notes, to share with parents, with siblings, and so on, and create a very inviting atmosphere for that. All right. So that is our educational philosophy in a nutshell. All right. And the mission of what we have. Are there any questions about that? There any questions on that? Any observations of what you have seen so far in the interaction of your students in the classes, in the website, and so on? Anything that you want to comment on? Mm-hmm.
My son had just mentioned he's taking a world religions class, and he talks about how much he's really enjoying the conversations that are being held in that class and learning about different people from around the world, different ways of belief around the world. He really enjoys his teacher, and I think a lot of that has to do with this way of learning that he's kind of given the freedom to choose some things that he wants to explore more deeply on his own and then come to class and discuss it. And he's had a great experience with that.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Katie, for sharing that. Okay. I would like now we are going to switch topics, and I'm going to leave a little bit of time to Emily Loveless. She's my daughter. Okay. And she is kind of in charge of all these educational programs and everything. If you want, Emily, I can share the screen and go to that area. You can direct me on that if you want to do that. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. So these are the financial aid sources that we have. We've put together educational reimbursement programs for each state. I've done extensive research throughout the years, so each state has their own page. The hard thing about educational reimbursement programs is they continue to change and evolve, and every year, even throughout the year, if we feel like we know what's going on and we have a grasp on things, it changes. So what is needed of the parents, specifically for my job, is if you have any updates on how programs are functioning or what new programs are in each state, if you will reach out to me and tell me of different programs or how they function, that would help me a lot. Especially ones that you use specifically. It helps me know what to write up because I don't use all of these programs. I've only used Open Ed or my Tech High, and so I know how that one functions, even though they changed this last year. But that's something I need the parents to help me with is to know how these educational reimbursement programs work and function within each state. Most of the time, either the program is going to need a receipt or an invoice. And if you need any of those things to receive a reimbursement, reach out to me and I'll create a receipt and an invoice for you to submit to the program. Utah Fits All Scholarship, they changed their whole program. A lot of the educational reimbursement programs are using Odyssey and are switching over to Odyssey. And so in those cases, a receipt and an invoice aren't needed because they have a marketplace there for you to purchase the courses. If there's any questions about educational reimbursement programs, I'm willing to answer, or concerns about the programs, I'll open it up to you guys.
Yeah. So the best thing that you can do is you go here to the financial aid page and you click on join. Okay, you join the page of your state. All right. Some pages are empty because we don't know of any educational reimbursement program on that state. But other pages they have some information, and we need a collaboration between the local families of that state and us in order to see, okay, how does the program work? Because generally we need to apply as a vendor into the program. We need to get approved for that program and then learn how you can participate and how we can sell our courses that way. All right. So that is kind of the partnership. So it's very important that you help us that way with that. All right. In this page of educational reimbursements chat is basically for you to ask any questions about any of these issues, anything dealing with money, financial aid, registrations, or anything, and that you are trying to coordinate how it works and so on. You can ask questions that way. If you need to communicate with Emily directly, you go here and open a chat, and you can click on the plus sign to start a new chat, and then you search for Emily. Okay, Emily Loveless. Okay. And this is kind of like a weird thing that it doesn't match. It matches all the first names and last names instead of that. So, but you go and find Emily Loveless, click on the plus, and you can start a chat with Emily that way, and then ask any questions directly to that. You can do certainly the same thing by searching me. All right. So Riboldi, okay, and I'm here. Well, I'm done showing the list because I'm the one logged in, but that is my account. Okay, and so you can also ask me any questions that way. All right. Have you used any of these programs this school year, and how has that been for you? Have you used anything on that? Mhm. Okay. All right. Well, moving right along, we are going to now talk about how the classes are set up, and what is the role of the students, and what is the role of you as parents in these classes, okay? So in a traditional class, in a traditional classroom, be it online or in person, usually what happens is that the teacher teaches the lesson in the classroom first, okay? Presents new materials and explains new concepts, show how to solve problems and so on, and then assigns homework. And then the students go home and they practice the homework, they complete the homework, solve problems and so on after that happens. And then the following class, the teacher moves on to the next concept and so on. So that is kind of the traditional classroom and model. We use a different model that is called the flipped classroom model, where the students receive the materials of what they should study and the lessons and everything before the class. And the idea is that the students learn the concepts at home first, okay? They watch videos, read assignments, they ask questions during the week, complete and turn in their assignments, okay? And then the students come to the live online class ready to ask questions, answer questions, share what they have learned, have discussions, and participate in the class. They should already come prepared to do that participation. The teacher's role during the live class is basically we give feedback on the assignments, the things that the students have turned in. We ask and answer questions, and then we go into more depth on the material that the students may have studied and preview the next week's lesson. Okay, we give basically the assignments of what is it that they are going to study the following week. Okay, so that is kind of like how the flipped classroom works. Now, the trick, okay, and the best way for the flipped classroom to function is really when the students do the study before class, when they do all their assignments and everything before class, and then they come really ready to participate in the live class, having studied and pondering and being ready to ask and answer questions themselves. Okay, so the role of the parent is really to support the student in these two areas. That is basically, the best, thing that you can do as a parent is to encourage the student, to give the time and the place, the technology for the students to be able to study the lessons beforehand, to be able to watch the videos and complete the assignments, encourage them to actually do that, and then also to provide the time and space, okay, for them to come ready for the live class. All right. So that is the main role there. Okay. Any questions about this, about how this works, and what are the different roles and expectations here? So, for example, one thing that one time I noticed is I had a student that obviously he was coming to class, but he hadn't completed all the assignments. All right. And when I was asking, some information about it and everything, he said, well, my computer doesn't allow me to watch YouTube videos. All right. Well, obviously the parents have set up some parental controls on the computer not to access YouTube. Well, the problem with that is that we rely on a lot of YouTube videos. In fact, we publish even our own videos on YouTube as a means of sharing and publishing the content and so on. So we need to find a way for you to do the parental control, but being able to allow the students to watch videos. Okay. Yeah. Another case, sometimes I have had students that come to the class and they have the camera off. And I asked them to turn the camera on, and they said, well, my camera is not working. Okay, I can accept if the camera is not working because the camera got, I don't know, bump or something today and so on. But we are on an online school, okay? And I cannot go to your home and fix the camera or do anything, okay? And so I need you as a parent also to provide the technology needed for them to be able to actively participate in the class. All right. Sometimes the students are on the go and they are on the phone. Okay, once in a while that is okay, but they cannot really participate actively or enjoy the full experience of an online class if they are watching this on the phone while going in the car or doing something else. All right. So that is also another thing that I need you to make sure that they do have the time and the space and the technology needed for them to participate correctly. Does that make sense? Okay. You wouldn't go to, you wouldn't send your students to a private school with a paper bag on their head. Okay, that is having the camera off. Okay, it's really the same thing. You wouldn't send them to a private school and tell them, oh, okay, you can only watch the class through a viewer this way. Okay, that would not be ideal. And so the same thing happens here. Now, the technology has a ton of advantages of things that we can do. I had one time a student that was participating in my classes, but he had to milk the cows. All right. And that was one of his chores. And my class was very early for him and so on. And part of the time he was actually with the phone, and we could see that he was in the barn milking the cows. Great. He could do actually both things, but he was participating. And then when he was done, he would log in into the computer and finish the class that way. All right. So there are some really great advantages of being able to be mobile, but we don't want that to be the only experience that they have all the time. Okay, so am I making sense? Is that asking too much? No, I don't think so. That is probably all right. Thank you for the thumbs up there. Okay. The other thing that we want to talk briefly about is on the future of the academy. So this is the 4th year that we have done the Well-Educated Heart Academy. And the first 3 years, we saw a lot of growth, okay? A lot of growth and a lot of interest and potential, new families joining and so on. This 4th year, we were still seeing, and we have still seen a lot of growth in the number of members in the website. We have probably around 3,600 members on the website. But this year, for the first time, we saw actually a decline in the number of enrollments in courses. Okay. And we don't know exactly why. So if you have any ideas, it would be important to know. Okay. So Natalie says, I have my camera off because I was painting. Okay. And that is fine. You can always do that, and that is just fine. All right. So we are actually kind of as a team between the teachers and me. I'm kind of teacher and administrator and everything else here. Kind of wondering, what should we do? All right. Is it that there are a lot more other alternatives to education? Okay. Should we shrink the number of courses that we offer, or keep them the same? Or, because the problem that I have is I have a lot of eager teachers that want to teach, and they have excellent ideas about courses and the things that they want to do. But if we don't have enough enrollments, then it's not a good thing for the teachers, for the students, and the families to offer a class that has very, very few number of students. Okay. And the dilemma that I have is that I continuously see the number of members in the website increasing. And so, but the number of members in the website is this year did not translate into a proportional number of enrollments. Okay. I know that I'm kind of preaching to the choir here, okay? I'm talking to the choir because you are the parents that are involved. You are the parents that have students and so on. But that is kind of the issue. Yeah, all right. How do we manage this better? Okay. One thing that we are planning on changing also this next year, we are going to think about more the details and everything carefully, is that this year we opened the pre-registration in middle of April. And we had kind of a little bit of trickle of registrations coming through April and May. And then because I was, wondering, okay, are we going to have enough students or not? We kept everything open and working through June and July and August and everything until finally, this past Monday, we closed the registration. But having done that, basically left me, specifically me, with no summer. Okay, I didn't have any time to develop my own course, the Earth Science course. That is a new course. I was planning on dedicating time to that because I was all the time during the whole summer dedicated to promoting classes, registering students, answering questions, giving discounts and this and that and everything. And so that was not good. Okay. And I understand that some families are very proactive, and they like to do the registration of their students and plan the next school year early on, during April and May. And then there are some families that are, more like me, the procrastinators, okay, that do it during August, September-ish time frame, okay. But we understand that. But what I want to do is to see how can we encourage more of the families to do the early registration. Then, of course, we will continue registering students throughout the summer, but doing it in a way that is not so time-consuming for me, okay, and for the teachers and the administration, okay. So we'll see how that evolves. I know that is probably, you're like, I don't care, that's your problem, but Ace?
I was thinking, so with my family, this is our first year doing the Well-Educated Heart. My sister-in-law and her family have been in it, and so I had a little bit of a harder time navigating the website, but then also we're in New Mexico and they don't offer discounts. So we had to figure out how to come up with money to be able to register for classes. So I'm certain that we probably registered later, but I think this year, because we know how the program works, that we would be able to register earlier. And as for numbers falling off, my only thought was maybe you have kids graduating. Maybe kids graduated out of the program, but I don't know.
Yeah, we have had certainly some students graduating out of the program, and most of the times those students do not necessarily delete their account, okay? They just leave the account, they are dormant, all right? One thing that also we have seen is that a lot of homeschoolers look for other opportunities, and especially the juniors, seniors in high school, they tend to start early concurrent enrollment programs, especially the pathways, BYU pathways, okay? Because sincerely, is okay, so you have there like almost, university credit courses, very, very inexpensive, very, very cheap. We cannot certainly compete with that. And so probably we are going to have to concentrate more in providing our courses for middle school and early high school instead of the seniors and juniors. Okay, which is, is not the ideal, because we have some really good teachers and some really good courses for the more mature students, but we don't know if they are going to come. Okay, that's the problem. Rachel, did you have your hand raised? Mm-hmm.
Yes. So I was thinking about maybe since the academy started around like the end of COVID time, maybe that's why there's been a drop off, because I've had a lot of friends that they've done the academy or they wanted to, but then their kids wanted more in-person classes. So I don't know, that's just maybe, but for me, this was perfect. The classes for my son, he just gets on, he's excited. I love the fact that, not to be sexist or anything, but I really I've wanted some male mentors for him, and it's hard to drive everywhere, so it's been really great. So I think people are looking for online options, and also male mentors. I mean, of course you have female teachers too as well, but I've seen it really work for my son so far, and he's really enjoyed it. So
thank you, Rachel. Yes, I totally love the zero commute time. Okay, and we have a trend here that he is one of our teachers living in Europe. Okay. And literally, you know, we can have families from anywhere in the world, and we do really. So that is a great advantage of that. But yeah, the zero commute time, it's fantastic. Kristen?
Yeah, I just had a thought. So when I signed my boys up for classes for the first time this year, and they had a friend that was curious about the classes they were taking, and I didn't really know where to direct them. I thought, do I have them go to the Libraries of Hope website? Do I try to get them onto this website? And how do I explain it to them when they don't have maybe the background? We use the principles. We don't necessarily follow the rotation schedule anymore. So I didn't know how to explain it to them. And I just had the thought it would be great if there was like a 3 to 5 minute promo type video that explained the academy. It could even have kids that like interview kids or interview some teachers to help them understand, like to give them a feel, so that if people had friends or people who weren't maybe, and I don't know too, if there's like more of a push to not, I don't know, like include people who are really deep within or understand the philosophy. But if we're trying to get more numbers, it would be great to have something that people could send people so that they can get an idea of exactly what the academy is, what its purpose is, and so forth. So that was just a thought I had.
Yeah, thank you so much. So marketing is my Achilles heel. Okay. I don't have time for marketing. I'm not good on social media. I don't do social media. But Kristen Fox, our art teacher, is actually very good. And so she is actually building some of those videos and everything. So we are working on that. Okay. Now, having said that, the best thing that you can do to help out immediately with that part is to send them to the website. So if a person comes to our website, just to the landing page, they have here some information about how the website works. So Kristen improved this really well. So this doesn't have a lot of information, but it explains exactly how the academy works, the courses that we have. Okay, it talks about tuition, you know, how to contact people. By the way, this is Emily's phone number, you know, so if you ever want to talk to her or call her, that's her phone number. This is my email. All right, and we have even a document with all the course descriptions that now looks really nice. Okay, so we are inching along, improving into these things. Yes? Okay. So you certainly can direct them to the website right there, to the you know, and the address, of course, is wehacademy.org. Okay. I probably should try to see if I can get some more, you know, domain names, but I think that is I think that I tried to do weha.org and it was already taken, so we had to go with this. But that is now a better experience. Okay. Now, the one of the feedbacks that I get all the time from everyone is the issue about navigating the website. Okay. And for that, one of the things that I need to do is to create a better checklist. So when a new member comes into the website, they get a better orientation of how the website works. Okay. So I have found, you know, Ace, you mentioned that was one of your conundrums, okay, on how to get around the website, and that has been a very common experience for most families. All right. Especially this is harder if you are using the phone, the application to log in and navigate everything. But the main parts of the website are the homepage, where we post all the main events and things that happen here. Okay. This info and links menu page, okay, has the schedule, the yearly calendar, tuition information, and then has short videos that explain everything, how this works. We could probably improve on the videos and make them better, but this is basically the place to go. Do you have a suggestion about a better name for info and links, or would you be looking for something else? I don't know. And then we have the list of courses, of course, the page with all the course offerings that come up. And then you can see all the courses, and actually you can preview the courses before buying and so on. I really don't know how to make it easier, frankly. So we'll see on that. But anyways, so that is kind of the website. That is kind of what I had prepared as far as the presentation goes. So we can have now some time for question and answers and anything that you would like to ask or comment, ideas, anything. Ace? Mm-hmm.
I do know when we were trying to get on the website that we had to purchase a 99-cent, I don't even remember what it was, before we even had access to the actual website. Like, we couldn't just pull up the actual website. Is it still set up that way?
Yes, so the landing page is open and free basically to everyone, okay? We are trying to figure out a way, and I think that now the software is giving us the opportunity, but we need to figure it out, of how to publish the courses outside of the paid website, okay? The reason of the 99-cent enrollment fee, okay, just to create an account, is for safety, is for security. And I don't know if there's a better way of avoiding spammers or fake accounts and so on. But before, when we had the website basically open and anyone could create accounts, we had a lot of fake accounts. We had a lot of, and that is a big concern of mine. I don't want people creating an account, posing as a child or as a student, okay, and then not, participate in that way in the website, all right? And so we put this 99-cent enrollment fee, and with that, we have completely cut the spammers. Okay, they don't want to put a credit card number, a real credit card, and do a payment just to spam people. All right, so but that is the reason for that. It's a safety issue. That is also another reason for why we require all the students to have their cameras on. I don't want someone to be posing as a student and chatting with the students and everything without showing their face in the classrooms. Okay, does that make sense? So those are the things that are always in my mind. Okay, so how to improve the safety and the community around for the students and the families. We want the students to be able to talk to each other, to chat. We have a special place for student events and activities where the students make posts and comment on other people's posts and so on. And we want to promote that as a safe place for them to learn how to interact in healthy ways in social media. Okay. There are so many places where people nowadays interact in very unhealthy ways in social media. We want to give our students the opportunity to experience how is it to share and to participate in a good community, in a community where you feel safe, okay? You can express yourself, but without being disagreeable, without getting into shouting text matches or anything like that. Does that make sense? Okay, that is all part of the learning experience that we provide here in the Academy. If you ever see some interaction that does not follow that philosophy, then you need to report it to us. Okay, you need to report it here to the administration so we can take steps on how to monitor that and control and teach these young students how to behave appropriately. Okay, we have had some incidents and we have had some, to take some interventions on that. So it is important also that you as parents are cognizant of what is going on, okay, with your students, the interactions that they are having and everything. Okay, I cannot see that. I don't see their interactions, but you should. Okay. Anything else? Any other question?
Just I have a quick question on the landing page, or when someone creates a new account, is it possible to, I know some sites will have sort of I wouldn't call it an orientation, but it's, I don't know, where a pop-up maybe that says, here is the info in this gives you this information. Then you click OK and it moves, sort of walks you through the different portions of the site and where to find what information. I don't know if the Mighty Networks application supports something like that, but if possible, that
does.
might be part of.
Yeah, what Mighty Networks does, Trent, is it allows you to create like a checklist. Okay, that is kind of the first thing that the new member sees, and so it's a way of saying, oh, okay, do this, do that, and it gives you an orientation, and you can put small videos to help with that. So I just need to find an afternoon, okay, somewhere to be able to do that. One of the many projects that I tried to do during the summer and couldn't. So yeah, but yeah, that is a great idea. Ace?
Maybe you could put some of the students to work on that.
Yes, I should really. Yeah, maybe I should promote that and ask for someone to help with that, creating the checklist. Yeah, good idea. I will do that. Okay, excellent. Anything else? Any other question? Any feedback? Anything that we can do to improve your experience as a parent?
Is the Academy ever looking for more teachers, or I guess you're low on enrollment, so probably not, but
That's right. Yeah.
How do you find your teachers? I don't know.
Yeah. All our teachers have come. Okay. That is an interesting thing. All our teachers have been sent to us, all right? And that has been kind of an amazing thing to see. Are people, that have heard, have seen how the academy works and everything, and they come and say, I would love to do this. This is what I'm passionate about. And so we pray about it, we test things and so on, and that is how our teachers come. My dream, okay, my vision of this would be that we would have enough families coming into this academy to be able to attract lots of great teachers, okay, that are willing to teach their passionate courses, and they have enough students to fill several courses, okay? So instead of, now we have basically two math teachers, me and Kristen Wilkinson, great teacher, all right. I would love to have 5, 6 math teachers that we will be able to fill out many classes at the different levels and everything for that. But I don't know how to grow it, which one comes first, okay? And certainly the students, the enrollments have to come. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really feel that there are so many awesome teachers around the world that could be great, that would love to be able to teach in this type of environment and be passionate about what they are teaching without all the shackles and regulations and assessments and this and that and everything. But they can't. They may be teaching in the public school system or in some other place and so on. And yeah. So, but that is the platform. Yeah. How did you find that strength? This is your third year.
Yeah, my third year. So I had kids in American Heritage that took classes from you, Pablo, and
Yeah.
I just had an itch. So I'm a lawyer, and I thought that I could teach an innovations course, teach people how to invent, how to solve problems like Thomas Edison or Alexander Graham Bell, and so I actually created my own website. I had taught in co-ops in my area. And I thought, if I could just do something online and maybe get 10 kids just to teach them this innovation course, it'd be pretty cool. And then we were at a family vacation at Lake Powell. I lived in Virginia at the time, and we had a long drive from Lake Powell back to Virginia. And my wife started listening to Pablo's orientation for the first year of Well-Educated Heart Academy. I think you're teaching 3 classes or something. And
Yeah.
and I just thought, man, I think that my course that I have in my head would fit. And so I sent you and Marlene an email, and the following year I was a teacher.
Yeah.
Teaching an innovation course, which has been one of the classes that has suffered from enrollment. But my other love is history, and I've always sort of said to my wife that when I retire from being a patent attorney, I'd love to teach history. And so I've found an opportunity where I don't have to retire from being an attorney to be the history teacher. So I get to teach classes about World War II, things that I love. I live in Portugal. I'm teaching an Age of Discovery class where we focus on Portuguese and Spanish explorers. And just there's so much history right around where I live that has to do with a lot of those people, and just in the future expanding into other things. But that's how I found you. Just I had started to create my own website, had it created, had my own sort of trade name, trademark, and then I heard your orientation and just thought that what I had in mind would line up perfectly with what you were talking about. So reached
Yeah.
out.
Thank you. And it has been a great adventure for both of us and for all the teachers, really. It is a pleasure for us to do it. So, yeah. So it is tricky, but that is kind of how it happens. So we have had these last 2 years, we have offered a couple of music courses. All right. But both times we have had to cancel the music courses because we didn't have enough enrollments. Okay. And the teacher is fantastic, really. But we have to grow the interest and everything. So, Rachel, you ask if all the teachers have teaching degrees. No, most of us, we don't have teaching degrees. We have degrees in other areas. I have my bachelor's is in information systems, and I'm a software developer. That is my main job. But I have a master's and a PhD on instructional science, so in education. And I've done my dissertation was in the implementation of instructional systems. Okay. So I've worked in online instruction for over 20 years in different places and everything. So all of our teachers have degrees, but not necessarily in teaching. So Kristen Wilkinson is a mechanical, no, she's a mechanical engineer. Yeah, That my son is also a mechanical engineer. We have my other son is a computer programmer, and he does the Python class. Trent is a patent attorney. And then we have Rule, that is everything. He just teaches everything and loves it with a passion. So, yeah. Let's see. How many total students do you have enrolled for this semester, this year? That is something that we are going to start counting as soon as we finish doing the accounting part. Yeah, because my wife is the accountant, and I have to support her. So when we finish that, we'll count. The latest count that we had was 640 enrollments. And last year we had slightly over 1,000 enrollments. So that is kind of a big difference. And also this year, most of the enrollments have had taken advantage of the 50% discount by being members of Bell-Am at Home. Okay, so which is a great blessing, but it also puts a dent on the retribution, the remuneration for the teachers. Okay. All right. Anything else? Any other question that we have? So, are there any questions in the chat? Okay. I think that, yeah. So, and you have also a master's on computer engineering and then a law degree.
Yeah, I like to learn, Bob. I even started on an MBA, but got too busy. So maybe someday.
That's right. Yeah. Alan Powell, our geography teacher and the world religions teacher, he has done all his career in the State Department. And so he has traveled the world with his family. And so when he talks about you know, religions around the world or places. They are all places that he has gone. He has lived in and been in, and he has friends from those places that brings into the class. It's fantastic, really. The caliber of teachers that we have is amazing. So, all right. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to stop the recording here. Okay.